What's up guys, Doc in Progress here. I know it's been a long time since I posted last. There are a lot of new subscribers. Thank you and welcome. My goal is to really start posting more now that I'm into kind of easier blocks than anatomy and histology, or blocks that kind of give me more time to do kind of what I want to do outside of medicine. And I wanted to get this video up. I have a lot of content recorded that I'm going to be posting over the next week or 2 weeks. I have a path final coming up on Friday, an immunology final, and then after that we have 2 selective blocks, and I'll make another video talking about selectives at Mayo and what they are. But I wanted to post this video because Mayo acceptances, rejections, and waitlists are coming out shortly. No, I'm not on the admissions committee. I'm not connected to them in any way. I just know that they kind of generally say February is when they release their decisions, and that's when my decisions were released last year. I'm thinking they're going to be released at least sometime in February. So, hopefully this week for you guys. I don't know. I just remember being in your position and waiting. I was fortunate enough to have other acceptances by now because it's pretty late in the game. It's because Mayo isn't rolling, it's all at once, whereas a lot of other schools are rolling. So if you already have acceptances, congratulations. And if you don't, hang in there. There's still a long way to go. The waitlist game is real, and don't think that if you're waitlisted only at other places and you have no chance of getting into medical school, because trust me, waitlists move like you have no idea. Like, you will see. But I understand the feeling of, just despair someone may have before they get an acceptance, because this is a huge kind of milestone in life. And you made it to the interview, you made it beyond now, and you're just waiting. So the way Mayo does it, which I personally hope they change it to rolling. Who knows if they will. They do ask the students who've matriculated, they have surveys, they ask us what we think. Whether they change that or not, obviously is up to them. But Mayo releases all of their decisions at once. And so what that entails is calls. Mayo does calls. Other schools do calls too. So from Mayo, you're gonna get, a call from your interviewer, a call from vice dean. I got it from the vice chair of admissions. That was my caller. And it's a really amazing moment. You see that call. I'm from out of state, so nobody else from Rochester, Minnesota is going to call me. So when I saw the number pop up, obviously I was super ecstatic. It came up on my computer, and it was just like ringing Rochester, Minnesota, and then I couldn't find my phone, and obviously my phone was in my pocket. But basically, there's going to be phone calls. And the way it worked in my year, which was last year, when they were calling over a 2-day period, I believe it was. They gave out all the acceptances, and then the next day they released rejections, and then the weekend came, and then they released waitlist decisions on Monday, which is kind of bad because obviously that's going to leave a lot of students, especially students on SDN, really worried about what's going on. So I just want to put that out there. First things first, if for some reason they do the same thing this year, and if you haven't heard back about an acceptance or a rejection and the weekend comes, you're going to be waitlisted. Which is not a bad thing at all at this school, especially because there is a good amount of waitlist movement, and a good amount of the class comes off the waitlist. So it's not something to worry about. Obviously, if you're on the wait list, I recommend expressing interest, continued interest until, May comes and, then you hear back. I kept tabs on last year, and it doesn't seem like after the wait list moved once, it didn't seem like it moved at all really after that. Obviously, I'm tracking that via SDN when I used it back in the day, and so that could be completely skewed. But on the basis of what my classmates have told me now, and from my own experience, it seems like the waitlist, at least at this school, moved once and it moved, and then those that were on the wait list who got those positions accepted it, and that was the end of it. But you never know. So keep your hope up. Don't be too depressed, and I know that's kind of meaningless because you're going to be upset if you get rejected or waitlisted, and I completely understand. But just know you're obviously worth more than, one school's decision, and it's not that you were a bad applicant or a bad person or they think you're going to be a bad doctor. Schools just pick, based on who they think will fit best at their school and, in the environment. It has nothing to do with their opinion of you being a bad doctor or like a bad future doctor or a bad student. Obviously, if you've interviewed here, you're excellent, and we were truly privileged to have you interview here. And I am personally sorry if it didn't work out and you get rejected, and I wish you the best at a different school, and I hope you find where you fit best. So yeah, I just want to put it out there. The acceptances are going to come out, and I believe the way Mayo does it is they don't over accept. So basically every other medical school in the country over accepts their positions, assuming that X amount will drop. What I believe Mayo does is they accept up to their amount, and after that they just wait. They wait until the deadline for when you can say what school you're going to go to, which I think is the end of April, and then they will offer on a position basis when they're open. Trying to think. Okay, so now we have two campuses, obviously. I had interviewed at both, and it seemed like both correlated on release date wise. They are separate admissions decisions, but I think they do coordinate like when they're going to release. I'm unsure if I know Minnesota, we didn't extend our interview process this year into late January. I think Arizona might have. I'm not sure though, but I think they're still going to correspond. So if Arizona extended their interview process, then it might take them more time to release, which might slow down this process here. They might have the decisions, but they're going to wait to release. Again, I'm not in the admissions committee. This is all just speculation and from understanding of my experience and my classmates' experience. To be perfectly honest with you, it's kind of hard for me to remember the Arizona stuff just because my whole heart and soul was in Mayo Clinic, Rochester. I made that decision. I interviewed at both places. Both had great faculty, great facilities, great people. But I knew for a fact like Mayo Clinic, Rochester was where I wanted to be. So I didn't really keep that many tabs on Mayo Clinic, Arizona back when I applied. And it might be the inverse for you. So really my main tips are, 1, stay off of SDN. Just stay off of it. SDN is a great tool to utilize to figure out, when you're interviewing and all of that, but it kind of becomes a cancer once you've interviewed and when you're waiting for acceptances and decisions. It's not healthy. I was caught in that trap. For every school I applied to and interviewed at, I was just following those threads like nobody's business, and it didn't do me any good. Either I got accepted, I got rejected, or I got waitlisted, and being on SDN didn't change any of that. It didn't help me beyond the point of, figuring out what their interview was going to be like. After that point, SDN doesn't really help at all. It's just going to be a bunch of people talking and speculating and making you worried. From that, I just want to bring up the topic of like likely letters. That happened last year, and I just remember everyone going kind of ballistic. I'm not entirely sure why Mayo does that. This whole likely letter thing, which is just, sending a, oh, you're highly ranked, and then, more personalized things. I don't know exactly how it was this year, but it did happen last year, and I just want you to, keep your head on and understand that if you received it, that's great. If you didn't, don't worry. There were people last year that received likely letters that didn't get in directly, that got waitlisted, and there were people who didn't get likely letters who got in. whether it be directly or from the waitlist. I guess it's nice to send out things to students that are personalized, and Mayo is very about that individualization, really showing people you care about them, and that is true. That is true as a student. You know, that's going to be true when you come here. Everything is really individualized. They care about you as a person, and they want you to know that. But I understand the feeling you would get if you didn't receive one and you saw an SDN like other people were. And I don't want that to kind of dictate, you know, what you do from this point. If you love Mayo, tell Mayo you love them. I know it sucks. You didn't get the love letter back, but in the end, that doesn't matter. What matters is the end goal, the end decision. If you didn't receive a likely letter, put that at the back of your mind. You're still in the game until the game is over. So if you're waitlisted, I told you, keep telling them you're interested. They want to know you're interested. No school doesn't want to know that. They want to know you're interested in them, because then you're more likely to come here, right? You're truly passionate about the place you are. When I applied to Mayo, I wasn't that crazy about it. From what I read, from what I knew, I'm from the East Coast, Mayo Clinic. I mean, it's just a name. It's not really anything other than that. I knew it was a great place to be. I knew it's #1, but other than that, I've never been here. My interview changed. That was the moment I knew. I stepped into the Gonda building, which is one of the main buildings here. I saw the patients walking around. I saw the environment, and I knew the second I stood in the Gonda building, I knew. I was like, this is where I want to be. It's one of the few places I've ever seen patients smiling, and there's a piano in there. People are playing a piano, and it's just people are walking around. It's warm. It's it's loving. People feel comfortable, and so I knew that was where I wanted to learn medicine. And so, yeah. So my battery's gonna die. I'm looking at the thing there, but that's really my advice to you. Stay off SDN if you can. Best of luck to all of you. I'm gonna be releasing more videos soon. And if you want me to talk about anything in specific, please leave a comment. Some of you have private messaged me and asked if I could email you, and I have, so check your spam mail if you haven't gotten an email from me and asked about it, and I'll be creating another email, just a general one where you can email questions, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Good luck, guys.